Today, we are setting out to understand anger, a force that often disrupts our peace and clarity. Anger is not an enemy to be feared, but a natural response that can either consume us or be transformed into something constructive. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions, while natural, need not dictate our actions or cloud our judgment. Instead, we can learn to approach anger with wisdom, using it to uncover deeper truths about ourselves. In this session, we'll explore how to meet anger with patience, understanding, and, ultimately, self-mastery. We'll look at practical ways to transform anger into clarity and frustration into insight, allowing us to engage with life's challenges from a place of inner calm and resilience. The Stoics believed that freedom comes from within, and that a truly powerful individual is one who masters themselves, not others. As we go through these principles, I invite you to reflect on how each can guide you toward a more peaceful, fulfilling life. 1. See anger as a signal, not a solution. I've learned that anger often points us towards something deeper, like an unmet need, a boundary crossed, or even a fear lurking beneath the surface. For example, if I'm frustrated with a friend who's consistently late, my anger isn't necessarily about the wait. It's often about feeling disrespected or undervalued. Recognizing this underlying reason helps me to separate the situation from my reaction. Instead of seeing anger as a call to react immediately, I can view it as a reminder to address my needs in a constructive way. This perspective shift takes practice. When I feel anger rise, I pause and ask myself, what is this really about? This simple question can transform anger from a force that clouds judgment into a tool for self-discovery. It encourages me to dig deeper and confront the root issue. Maybe I need to set clearer boundaries, communicate better, or work on my own insecurities. Viewing anger as a signal rather than a solution also makes interactions more productive. Instead of letting anger take control, I take responsibility for understanding and addressing my own needs. This practice has helped me maintain stronger, healthier relationships because I'm not constantly reacting to surface-level frustrations. Instead, I'm tackling the underlying issues, which leads to growth for everyone involved. It's about using anger as a catalyst for change, not as fuel for conflict. 2. Treat patience as a muscle to strengthen. I used to think patience was something you either had or didn't, but Stoic philosophy taught me that patience is a skill, like a muscle you can train and strengthen over time. Imagine waiting in a long line or dealing with traffic. Two situations that used to make me tense up. Instead of getting frustrated, I now see these as little patience workouts. Each time I choose to stay calm, it's like doing a mental rep that builds my patience for bigger challenges. To practice, I start by focusing on my breathing when frustration builds. I'll count each inhale and exhale, letting my mind settle. I might also use the moment to think of something I'm grateful for. For example, if I'm stuck in traffic, I remind myself how lucky I am to have a reliable car or to be heading home to loved ones. It sounds simple, but this shift in focus helps me turn what would have been a stressful moment into a peaceful one. Over time, these small exercises add up, and I've noticed I'm much more patient in situations that used to frustrate me. Whether it's handling delays or managing people who test my limits, patience has become a skill I can lean on. Treating patience as something I can improve has been a game changer, and it's helped me approach life with more ease and resilience. 3. Recognize what's within your control. One of the most transformative Stoic principles is the idea of control. There's so much in life we have zero power over, from other people's behavior to unexpected events. This used to frustrate me endlessly because I felt like things were happening to me. But Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what we can control: our actions, our responses, and our mindset. For instance, if someone acts rudely, it's tempting to take it personally and react in kind, but recognizing that I can't control their behavior, only my response, gives me a new sense of freedom. Instead of feeling like a victim to their actions, I focus on how I choose to react. This shift has been incredibly empowering. I no longer waste energy trying to change things that are beyond my control. Instead, I invest that energy into areas where I can make a real difference, like my own thoughts and behaviors. I also apply this to broader life situations. If a project at work doesn't go as planned, or a trip gets cancelled, I remind myself that while I can't change these outcomes, I can control how I react. Maybe I use that extra time to pursue a hobby or spend time with family. This mindset shift has made my life much more peaceful because I'm no longer fighting against the inevitable. Instead, I'm focusing on what's within my reach. 4. Use mindfulness to catch yourself early. Mindfulness has been a game changer for me when it comes to managing anger. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, especially when something triggers us unexpectedly. But practicing mindfulness, staying aware of my thoughts and feelings in real time, has helped me catch anger early before it spirals out of control. When I feel that initial surge of frustration, I take a deep breath and focus on the sensation of breathing. This simple act brings me back to the present and creates a little mental pause. In that space, I can decide whether the situation really warrants a big reaction or if it's something I can let go of. Often I find that this quick pause is enough to see things more clearly. For example, if I get a frustrating email, I no longer fire off a response right away. I breathe, let the initial reaction settle, and come back to it when I'm calm. This practice of mindfulness has saved me from saying or doing things I'd regret. Over time, I've become better at recognizing anger as it arises, allowing me to control it rather than let it control me. Mindfulness isn't a cure-all, but it's a powerful tool. It gives me the space to choose my response consciously, rather than being driven by emotion. The more I practice, the more natural it becomes, helping me stay grounded in the moments that matter most. 5. Turn anger into curiosity. I used to see anger as something to suppress or avoid, but Stoicism introduced me to a different approach, turning anger into curiosity. Instead of reacting right away, I now try to ask myself, why does this bother me? This question shifts my focus from the external trigger to my internal response, helping me understand the deeper reasons behind my anger. For instance, if a friend makes a hurtful comment, my immediate reaction might be to feel defensive. But instead of snapping back, I pause and ask, what's really going on here? Sometimes I realize the comment triggered an insecurity of mine, or maybe I'm just tired and more sensitive. This insight doesn't excuse rude behavior, but it helps me respond thoughtfully instead of react impulsively. Curiosity also allows me to see the other person's perspective. Maybe they're dealing with their own issues or didn't mean to come across the way they did. By approaching anger with curiosity, I turn potentially tense moments into opportunities for growth and understanding. This approach has not only helped me manage my anger, but has also deepened my empathy and improved my relationships. 6. Practice empathy toward others' flaws. It's easy to get frustrated with others when they mess up or don't meet our expectations. But Stoicism reminds me to see these moments as opportunities to practice empathy. For instance, if someone makes a mistake at work or acts rudely, I try to consider what they might be going through. Maybe they're stressed, dealing with personal issues, or simply had a rough day. Instead of reacting with anger, I remind myself that they're human too, just like me. This shift from judgment to empathy has helped me stay calm and respond with compassion rather than frustration. It doesn't mean excusing poor behavior, it just means choosing understanding over anger. This mindset has not only made me more patient, but also improved my relationships, as people feel more comfortable around someone who sees their flaws with kindness. 7. Forgive to find freedom. Forgiveness used to feel like letting someone off the hook, but Stoicism has taught me that forgiveness is really about freeing myself. When I hold on to anger, I'm carrying that burden around with me, replaying events that only weigh me down. But when I choose to forgive, I'm not saying the hurtful behavior was okay. I'm simply releasing its hold over my peace of mind. One way I practice forgiveness is by reminding myself, I release this because it no longer serves me. Saying this out loud or in my mind gives me a sense of closure. Over time, I've noticed that forgiveness isn't about the other person at all. It's about choosing peace for myself. And when I let go of anger, I make space for more positive emotions, like compassion and joy. 8. Embrace the impermanence of feelings. One powerful Stoic insight is the recognition that everything, our anger, happiness, even challenges, is temporary. This concept has helped me immensely, especially during tough times. When I feel overwhelmed by anger, I remind myself, this, too, shall pass. Knowing that emotions are fleeting helps me ride out the storm without making impulsive decisions I might later regret. It's like watching waves crash on the shore. They come and go, but they don't stay. Realizing that anger is just a passing wave gives me the patience to let it flow without getting swept away. This practice helps me avoid saying or doing things I'll regret, all because I know the feeling is temporary. 9. Stop expecting others to understand. Sometimes my frustration stems from expecting others to get me, to understand my point of view. But not everyone will, and that's okay. When I let go of the need for others to fully understand or validate my feelings, I feel lighter and more at peace. I remind myself that my inner peace isn't dependent on others' opinions or approval. This doesn't mean I stop expressing myself, but I'm no longer waiting for a specific reaction. By releasing the expectation that others should see things my way, I feel less frustration and more acceptance, creating space for calm and mutual respect in my interactions. 10. Reflect on past anger to build future resilience. Reflecting on past moments when I let anger take over has been invaluable. I'll look back and ask myself, what could I have done differently? Did my reaction help or hurt the situation? This isn't about self-blame. It's about learning and growing so I can handle similar situations better in the future. Each reflection builds my resilience, helping me recognize patterns and improve my responses over time. By understanding how I handled past situations, I prepare myself to respond more calmly and constructively when anger inevitably comes up again. This process has helped me develop greater emotional strength and wisdom over time. Thank you for joining me on this journey to understand anger through a Stoic lens. Remember, Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, but about mastering our responses to them. Anger, like any emotion, is fleeting and doesn't have to define us. When we choose patience over impulse, we gain true freedom. the power to shape our own actions and find peace within, regardless of external circumstances. If these Stoic principles resonate with you and you're eager to cultivate more resilience and calm in your life, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Together, we can continue exploring insights that bring us closer to inner strength and wisdom. And if you have your own thoughts or stories on managing anger, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Let's keep building a community centered on growth and wisdom.